What's up, moviegoers? Welcome to the Markio Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony. In this episode of the Markio Podcast, I'm talking about Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. It is the 7th installment in the Friday the 13th film series and is set years after the events of Jason Lives. The plot follows a psychokinetic teenage girl who unwittingly releases and brings back to life Jason from his tomb at the bottom of the lake, allowing him to go on another killing spree in Camp Crystal Lake. The movie was released May 13th, 1988, has a runtime of 88 minutes. The budget was $2.8 million and grossed $19.1 million at the box office. Now, the 7th entry in the series was intended to have a high standard and more quality effect to it, and wanted to be more so and hire prolific directors to direct this movie. That's what the studio wanted. Now, several failed concepts were given into this movie. And after the installment of Jason Lives, which reintroduced Jason Voorhees' character, Part 7 was intended to be a crossover film between Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger. With each Friday the 13th sequel, the box office profits weren't that good, and with the Friday the 13th movies, they showed no promise, especially Nightmare on Elm Street series grossing nearly twice the amount of the Friday the 13th movies. Now, Paramount Pictures proposed a crossover idea to New Line Cinema, their rival company, who held the rights to the Freddy Krueger movies. Now, Paramount wanted to control the domestic distribution, while they gave New Line Cinema the international distribution rights. The idea was abandoned after the two companies failed to come to an agreement, with the concept only coming to fruition later on. One of the concepts for the 7th movie was conceived by an associate producer and was noted as being similar to the plot of Jaws, where a corporate land developer covers up the previous Jason Voorhees massacres in order to profit, building condos on Camp Crystal Lake. Now, that idea was scrapped, and the new idea basically was considered by Daryl Haney from Frank Mancuso Jr., who considered the Jason versus Carrie concept. Now, basically, the character of Tina Shepard is trying to resurrect her father, whom Tina caused to drown in the lake when she was a child. We find out that Tina had some sort of traumatic experience when she was a young girl, and she has these telekinetic powers, but as she's doing so, she resurrects Jason, and once again he goes on a killing spree to occupy Camp Crystal Lake, but he is returned at the bottom of the lake at the end of the movie with the battle with Tina. The thing I like about this movie is that we finally have that character and female, protagonist who is actually equal to Jason. As we know, in Jason Lives, he became supernatural. He became a monster movie. He became a monster, so to speak. And what way to kill off or, to battle Jason than having someone with psychokinetic or telekinetic powers and just uses their mind against this hulking brute figure. Now, if you didn't know, everyone knows the actor and stuntman Kane Otter. He started playing Jason Voorhees, and he would reprise this role in 3 more movies. Kane Otter did a fantastic job, and the way the makeup is done in Part 7 was different and weird. And you can tell that over the course of the Friday the 13th movies, Jason grows or, gets taller in a way, and he did it in this one. The way the camera shots were done were different, and the reason I say that is because they were at an up angle where we saw Jason as this hulking figure of a man or monster, and the only way Tina could defeat him was by using her powers. Jason was no match for Tina at all. You think Tommy Jarvis was, a good protagonist for Jason Voorhees. Well, he wasn't. He was technically annoyed because after the events of the final chapter and how traumatized he was during the events of the 4th and 5th film, he decided to kill Jason once and for all. Well, that didn't happen, and that backfired in Part 6, Jason Lives. But, knowing now that this 7th movie was supposed to be a crossover between Freddy vs. Jason and Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees was different. How would that have happened, How would they have done that? Because I'm pretty sure they would not have used the concept that they did in 2003 when they did Freddy vs. Jason. And the role of Tina was really good. She is very underrated at the time. And the way she did certain things to, manipulate Jason and how she used Jason in order to do certain things. There are scenes where Jason is just like, just choked in the air by a wire, and it's just so, interesting because this Tina character is so powerful, And she's powerful in a way where, she got these powers through different circumstances. And explained in the movie. And if you haven't seen it, I don't want to go in depth with it. But it's really good and it's really interesting. I love this movie because it's technically Jason versus Carrie, which is what it is. And if they brought back Sissy Spacek as Carrie in this could have been called Friday the 13th Part 7, Jason versus Carrie. Wow, imagine that. Imagine how that box office could have been. It would have been interesting. It would have been interesting to see Sissy Spacek in a movie like this, but it wasn't. It was good. And I love the poster that they have. It's basically Jason and then Tina and a knife between the middle of them, basically showing that they're both equal in a way, which they are equal. Tina has these powers. Jason is now a monster, and that's how it is. He is a monster, and this movie was really good and really done well. I would have changed the ending a little bit. This is where I would have ended the movie, but of course, when a movie doesn't end and you show different things, there always is another one. So let me know in the comment section below what you think about Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, and the new blood pertaining to Tina, who fights Jason in this movie. Did you like that concept? Did you like the Carrie versus Jason idea? And if so, do you think that the Freddy versus Jason concept back in 1988 would have worked? And tell me why. Let me know in the comment section below about the questions I just asked. And stay tuned for the next episode of the Markio Podcast, where I talk about Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. And be sure you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell for new videos and new podcast episodes on the Markio Productions YouTube page. And follow Markio Productions on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And follow me, Anthony, your host, on Instagram and Twitter at Mr. Filmstock. And follow the Markio Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'll leave a link to all the social media accounts in the description box below. You can check it out and follow along. Alright everyone, that does it for today's episode. I'm your host, Anthony. Thanks for tuning in.